This week on New Arrivals, we have some great summer watch options from Rolex and Panerai, a brand new release from Tudor, a value proposition from IWC, and finally, a very special hand-engraved Patek Philippe. So stick around for that. Let's get into it. First up, the Rolex Sky-Dweller. A watch known for its styling and bold size. But today I want to talk about why it's what's on the inside that truly counts. The Sky-Dweller, it's a relatively new addition to the Rolex lineup, debuted back in 2012. And I think when you look at its styling, you can clearly see where it's come from. It carries over familiar design language from models like the Datejust and the Date 8, but it offers a complication not previously seen from the Crown. In addition to its dual time capability, the Sky-Dweller incorporates an annual calendar. Now, in our last New Arrivals, which we'll link above, we talked about Patek Philippe's 5035. This was the first annual calendar reference ever, which launched back in 1996. And what we reiterated was that for collectors, the annual calendar is a great trade-off between convenience and complexity, requiring only one adjustment per year. But the reason why I want to talk about this watch is because of the way Rolex implemented it. It's such a Rolex solution, and I think it's brilliant. While most annual calendars rely on a relatively complex series of levers and cams, Rolex's Saros mechanism requires just 4 additional gear wheels and 2 gear ratios. In addition, rather than making the dial busy with a traditional month indicator, there's these tiny little apertures that run around the edge of the dial and correspond to each month, staying neatly out of the way, but also letting the wearer know exactly what time of the year and month it is. The home indicator is displayed in this offset ring, while the functions are controlled through this ring command bezel rather than additional pushes or correctors. I think it's a really clever way of incorporating what was and still is very much an aesthetic touch on this fluted bezel, but now it's become functional as well. Since we're talking about complications, I'm really curious to get your take on something. Recently, there's been a big shift in the collector community around high complications and intricate finishing. They seem to be the types of watch features that people are really drawn to these days, which in many ways is the opposite of what Rolex has built its success on. Don't get me wrong, Rolex finishing is of a very high standard, but the brand had typically focused on simplicity and reliability. I'm curious to know what you think Rolex is going to do next to address these changes in collector tastes. Will we see this annual calendar mechanism make its way onto other model lines, maybe even the 1908? Let us know what you think and what you'd like to see from Rolex next. Now, moving on to another great summer watch, perfect for days on the beach. It's the Panerai Submersible PAM 973. Now, full disclosure, this is going to be a completely biased review because I personally am a big fan of Panerai, especially at the moment, since it's become one of those companies that's out of favor with collectors. But for me, there are few brands with a history more interesting and even fewer with a design language more recognizable than Panerai. Given their watches are historically faithful, it means they do tend to run large, especially when you consider that collector tastes have evolved to favor smaller watches. However, this is where the Submersible comes into play, because this particular reference measures in at 42 millimeters. It's still quite a large watch, but considering Panerai's often measure 44, and in some cases 47 millimeters, this feels significantly smaller. Let's compare it to my personal Panerai Luminor PAM 112. You can see side by side a noticeable difference in both the look and the feel, and that's particularly noticeable once you get these on the wrist. This is a great option for anyone looking to get into Panerai, but has always felt like the watches were just that little bit too large. And it's also a great opportunity to experience a brand that's currently out of favor and therefore remains very undervalued. I personally love the Submersible line too, as I really think it channels Panerai's history in dive watches. And since 2019, it's become a standalone collection rather than just being a subcategory of the Luminor. I highly recommend this as a great value diver with really distinctive design from a brand with unmatched history. Okay, since we're talking about value propositions, let's chat a little bit about the Portugieser from IWC. I want to start by saying, just in a really simple form, the Portugieser is just a really good looking model line. When I look across the range, it reminds me just how well-rounded the offering is. I like that IWC has continued to invest in the Portugieser in recent years. We've seen watches like the record-breaking Eternal Calendar, and also my personal favorite, the Horizon Blue dial. This particular reference features a small seconds display and a power reserve, and it encompasses all of those Portugieser hallmarks. The Arabic numerals, the leaf style hands, and the railroad minute track. It's just so timeless and has changed very little over the decades. And it's one of those watches you know is never going to go out of style. But what I also really appreciate about this watch is the 7-day automatic movement. These 5000 series in-house movements and their derivatives have become like a signature of IWC, and we've seen them featured on other well-known models from the brand, such as the iconic Big Pilot. I think these watches offer a lot for the money, especially on the pre-owned market, and I highly recommend them for anyone who's looking for a one-watch solution from a really reputable brand who doesn't mind some slightly larger dimensions. Right, next up, something that just came into the office before we started filming. We have something brand new from Tudor. It's the Monarch. Now, as more and more brands double down on their hero models, it's commendable to see companies trying something new and taking a few risks. To me, that's exactly what the Monarch represents. Since its relaunch in 2012, Tudor has very much become the Black Bay brand, and it's not easy in this day and age to step outside of your lane. Now, the Monarch name isn't actually new for Tudor. It was a line that the brand released back in the early 90s, but I think this new interpretation is a clever execution because it blends elements of Tudor design throughout the 20th century. And it means it's a perfect nod to the brand's history, especially as this forms part of Tudor's 100th anniversary celebrations. So let's look at the design. We've got an angular integrated bracelet shape, which obviously screams 1970s and shows off some of the impressive finishing with polished bevels, and also we see polished center links on there too. The dial has sort of early 20th century influences. We've got an error-proof layout with that combination of Roman and Arabic numerals, small seconds at 6, and this copper toned finish. Even though they've blended so many different styles, I think the whole thing comes together really well into a cohesive design, and I think it looks fantastic. This watch also incorporates a new movement from Tudor, which is visible through the sapphire case back, and I think the finishing, it represents Tudor perfectly. It's not incredibly detailed. It looks slightly industrial, but I think it matches the profile of the brand. To me, overall, this is a great release, and I think alongside the Black Bay Chrono, Tudor has had a very strong 100th year so far. Now, lastly, something from Patek Philippe. Sometimes you come across watches that really remind you of the supremely talented craftsmen and women who work in this industry. And this reference 5088P is a perfect example. It was launched in 2014 as part of Patek Philippe's 175th anniversary celebrations, and it showcases the brand's history in both engraving and enameling. The dial is just an absolute standout, and we'll get in nice and close so you can see the details. It has been entirely hand engraved, and when you look really closely, you can see all of the tiny intricacies and accents. It's an unbelievable piece of craftsmanship and a truly special interpretation of the Calatrava. It's also worth noting that even the case flanks and the buckle have been painstakingly hand engraved. And of course, as with any Patek Philippe, you have impeccable movement finishing. On this reference, it's the caliber 240 with a micro rotor, meaning the case is exceptionally thin. And with this being a platinum case, we've also got that diamond subtly placed at 6 o'clock. Given the amount of skill and time required to produce something like this, the 5088 was made in very small numbers, and examples like this rarely come up for auction. Those are this week's new arrivals. And as always, all of these watches are live on the site right now, so we'll leave links in the description below. If you're thinking about selling a watch, don't forget that watch collecting offers 0% seller fees and gives you access to a global audience of collectors while keeping more of the final price in your pocket. If you have any questions about buying, selling, or any of the watches featured in today's video, feel free to leave us a comment below or send us a DM. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.